Efficiency of paper towels. By efficiency, we mean water absorbency, wet and dry strength, and cost efficiency. This experiment was conducted by Ben Ryder, Derek Pierce, and Travis Cattell. We are all juniors at Mattoon High School, and we conducted the experiment for our Chemistry 2 class, period 6.
We would like to thank Mr. Sparks for letting us use his electronic instruments, the mother of Ben Ryder for letting us come over to his house, Mattoon High School for letting us use their classrooms, McDonald's for letting us do our first official meeting, and Walmart for providing us with the paper towels.
The reason that we conducted this experiment was to hopefully find the most efficient brand of paper towel in terms of wet strength test, dry strength test, and water absorbency, and the cost efficiency of all three of these categories. Ben predicted that Viva would be the most effective out of all of them. Travis predicted Bounty would be the most effective, and Derek predicted Brawny would be the most effective. We were interested in doing this experiment because paper towels are a very household item and are used every day, and we think it's important to know what your paper towel can do.
We used 5 sources to gather information for our project. 4 sources are websites, and 1 is a book. The book we used is highlighted. We could tell the 4 websites are credible sources because they use suffixes such as .edu and .org.
This website provides numerous techniques and experiments to test the paper towel's absorbency and strength. These notes provide us with a view of how to organize collected data and gave us ideas on the materials needed to test such properties of a paper towel. We will use the website to help us organize and structure our experiments so our obtained results can be authentic and precise.
This website describes what key factors contribute to paper towels' absorbency. According to the website, sugar molecules in the paper towels are the key to obtaining water. The more sugar molecules the paper towel has, the more absorbent it will be. We will use this data to determine which paper towel brand in our experiment has the highest content of sugar molecules.
The book we obtained from Mr. Sparks, written by Consumer Reports, described numerous techniques to test commercial paper towels. These techniques include quick climb test, big spill test, dry strength test, wet strength test, and rough scrub test. The book also lists numerous ways to record data gathered for each of these experiments. It even gives a formula to calculate the price per paper towel.
This source goes into great detail about the process of making paper towels. It begins with the need to obtain paper and then shred it into tiny fibers, microscopic. It ends with the final product drying out after being bleached. We will use this source to understand how paper towels are made and what processes lead to the final product. In order to conduct any good experiment, we must know how the object we are studying came into existence.
The website documents the history and the origins of paper towel. It was originally an idea from a school teacher to contain and limit the spread of illness in public schools. The original name of the paper towel was Sani towels. We will use this source to understand the history of paper towels and how they have gained so much influence in our lives and activities. For the dry strength test, we are using a force plate with a rod with a tennis ball on top. We're used to break the paper towel, and it's all plugged into a lab quest which measures the amount of newtons in force downwards used to break the paper towel. Strength test number 1 of Viva. Test 3 of Bounty. Strength test number 6 of Sparkle. Strength test number 8 of Brawny. For the wet strength test, what we're planning to do is take the paper towel, submerge it in the tub of water for 20 seconds, then hold it above the water for 20 seconds, see how much water it loses, and then put it over the scale, or put it into the scale and see how much it weighs. To determine the amount of water absorbed by the paper towel, we weighed it before we dunked it underwater, and then we're weighing it after we hold it above the water for another 20 seconds, and then we'll subtract the 2 weights to get the amount of water. Alrighty, we're soaking our paper towel for 20 seconds. Woo! It's an exciting process. Ready for it? And? and left. Now we hold it above the water for, guess how much time? 20 seconds. And wait for it. And then we put it in there. Guess how long for? Not 20 seconds, it really doesn't matter. 23.3. It's really not. We'll put it in later. And then we bring it over here, where our magnificent assistants. We start the lab quest. We measure how much force it takes to break the paper towel. Over to the strength test with the lab quest. And our lovely Travis Cattell starts the lab quest. And then we rip it over the tennis ball and measure the weight. Or measure the amount of force needed to break the paper towel. We stop the lab quest. Give it time. And see how much it weighs.
10.1.
And a whopping 10.1 newtons.
We reduced the experimental error by doing a total of 10 trials per test. Each test included dry strength, wet strength, and water absorbency. We did a total of 10 trials for each brand. There was a total of 4 brands, which came out to a total of 40 trials per test. For Bounty, the average of the 10 trials is 34.75 newtons. For Viva, the average of the 10 trials is 29.58 newtons. For Sparkle, the average of the 10 trials is 32.32 newtons. And for Brawny, the average of the 10 trials is 30.75 newtons. In our dry strength graph, you can see that Bounty is the highest, then Sparkle, then Brawny, then Viva. And we calculated our dry strength per roll by taking the average dry strength times by the number of paper towels per roll.
For the wet strength test, the average of the 10 trials for Bounty was 13.15 newtons. The average of the 10 trials for Viva was 9.98 newtons. The average of the 10 trials for Sparkle was 9 newtons. And the average of the 10 trials for Brawny was 10.77 newtons. For the wet strength test, the highest was Bounty, followed by Brawny, followed by Viva, followed by Sparkle. We calculated the wet strength test per roll by taking the average wet strength by the number of paper towels in the roll. The highest was Brawny, followed by Bounty, followed by Viva, followed by Sparkle.
We found the water absorbency of the paper towels by finding the weight of the paper towel with water subtracted by the weight of paper towel before water was added. The average of the 10 trials for Bounty for water absorbed was 29.92 grams. The average water absorbency of the 10 trials for Viva was 46.23 grams. The average water absorbency of Sparkle of the 10 trials was 20.2 grams. And the average water absorbency of Brawny of the 10 trials was 22.38 grams. The highest average of the water absorbency test was Viva, followed by Bounty, followed by Brawny, and then Sparkle. Calculated the water absorbency per roll by taking the average water absorbency multiplied by the number of paper towels per roll. The highest average water absorbency per roll was Viva, followed by Brawny, then Bounty, then Sparkle. Used our results to find the cost efficiency of the 4 brands, which included Bounty, Viva, Sparkle, and Brawny, to find their cost efficiency in the 3 categories, which include dry strength, wet strength, and water absorbency.
Dry strength in newtons per roll of paper towels and cost per newton, and we found it by using average number of newtons needed to break a paper towel multiplied times the number of paper towels in a roll, and we found the total per roll. Then we divided by the cost per roll in cents, and we found the total strength in newtons per cent. The most cost efficient in dry strength per cent was Sparkle to Brawny to Viva to Bounty.
Next, we found the wet strength in newtons per roll of paper towel and cost per newton. We found it by using the average number of newtons needed to break a paper towel, multiplied by the number of paper towels in a roll, and we found the total per roll. Then we divided the cost per roll in cents, and we found the total strength in newtons per cent. The lowest cost in wet strength was Brawny, followed by Sparkle, then Bounty, then Viva.
Finally, we found the water absorbency per roll of paper towels and the cost per gram of water absorbed. We found it by using the average number of water absorbed in grams, multiplied times the number of paper towels in the roll, and we found the total grams of water absorbed per roll. Then we divided by the cost of per roll in cents, and we found the total number of grams of water absorbed per cent. The brand that was the most cost efficient in the water absorbency per cent was Viva, then Brawny, then Sparkle, then Bounty. If we could do this experiment differently, we would do it differently by conducting more than 10 trials for each. We would probably conduct more like 20, double the trials, get more accurate findings. And we would study more paper towel brands to calculate a wider range of results. We would also study the absorbency of different materials and the paper towel scrubbing strength to get more accurate results and a wider range of data, therefore improving our experiment.